Techies and techettes, if you've ever wanted to take advantage of your AMD Infinity Fabric, well, this is the video that it's going to make you build hopefully the courage to do so. If I can do it, you can do it. And for first-time viewers, what's going down? My name is Mac here at the macgyver'd channel, and today what we're going to be covering is the DRAM calculator for Ryzen. Now, it seems kind of sketchy when you go download it. You're going to need another tool, which is your Thaiphoon Burner, in order to make sure you end up getting the right settings for your actual DRAM. I can't help but stress that enough, but as long as you have those, you can pretty much just dial it in. Where I'm going to show you a very easy way in order to get this into your BIOS settings. So we're going to have to go into your BIOS setting, and I think that this will be the easiest way to have the validity of making this happen. So first things first, let's go ahead and make some stuff happen. You can see I have two things pulled up. One of the links that you're going to want to download, which is the DRAM from the technical power. Extract those folders, make a folder, and we'll be running that in just a second. Do the same thing with the Thaiphoon Burner. All those will be in the description down below, so go ahead and open that up. Pause this real fast, then go ahead and restart this up so that way you can kind of consume this. But if not, you can always rewind. Whatnot. Point being is, get those downloaded real fast. Now, you're going to have to open up the Thaiphoon Burner. It's going to say, hey, it doesn't want to run it. It's fine. It's just going to basically say that it's messing with RAM. Make sure all your programs are shut down in order for you to get down to it. And you're going to have this very easy access point with going into the situation of just read. As you can see, I already have it pulled up. You'll be selecting either one of these. Sometimes I have noticed there was a pain in the butt for like my 3800 of my freaking Threadripper of 32 cores that I just found out that the new update actually supports the new generation of Threadripper. So now my Threadripper is about to take off. I'm super excited. That was another reason why I was super stoked to make this video for my community, but to push forward. So let's go ahead and highlight the information you need that's the most important. Manufacturer. Some people don't mention it, but I think it is because they're just going to ask it. It's going to be associated with it, but Samsung is usually one of the bigger portions of it. So hey, you've cleared that off the thing. Manufacturer. Next step, density and die. That's where you're going to see the B die. This is where it messed up on my system, and I had to keep reselecting everything until it said like 1, and then also said B side, and I was like, oh cool, I know that I have like a B die. So that is one of the other things. And then you're going to want to find the rank. Those three will allow you to input stuff into the Ryzen calculator. So let's go ahead and open up the Ryzen calculator like so. And voila, there we are. So you're going to be greeted with a lot of cooler things that you can see right now. They have newer versions that it came out just as today, but it just basically goes into the fast and the save calculator. You can go both, and you can hit the reset. Now, what we ended up coming into before, these are going to be the settings now before. Now, with your Zen Plus and 1 for your basically your AM4, so any of like your normal non-Threadripper cores, then you have your Threadripper generation 1 and then 1 Plus. So that's like your 1950s versus like your 2950s. So you can kind of see the distinguishing factors. Then you come down to like what your standalone of 24 and like your 32 cores used to be, as they utilized an interlaced Infinity Fabric that jumped over itself. Long story short, we're not going to get into that, but it's a leap and a hurdle. So you have that for your WX series. Now this is where the fun part, where I was super stoked about, because now I have my Zen 2 freaking AM4 SR X4. I am super stoked. I can't help but like get ready for that, because like after I'm done with this, I'm just tuning the crap out of my PC, and it's gonna run so beautiful. She's never gonna see those tracks before. She's gonna be like a whole new freaking beast. But anyway, so we know at this point in time, I know mine's a 2950X. We already know it's a B die. At this point in time, don't mess with this, because it seems like this is if you have a whole bunch of freaking different dies, like different sets, and you wanted to tune it. I'm not quite exactly sure, but it kind of seems that's what it's hitting. We know we have a rank 1. We know we're going to 32. We know the block frequency is 100 because we haven't messed with it. And that with Threadrippers, what you end up noticing for myself, now if I was normally, that's like 1 stick of RAM, 2 sticks, 4 sticks for like your normal set, which normally already taps out at 4 like 6 RAM. Well, since mine is a Threadripper, and it has 8 technically, but it's divided into 2. So make sure, and if you hover over these, they will give you all the little tidbits that you want to get down to. My motherboard, I already know, is an X399. You can always tell that if you kind of Google it. Sometimes you can find those kind of things, but you'll know that that's just your socket type that basically you're putting in. So if you find your socket type, you'll know exactly what's going down or what's up. So besides that, that's basically what you want to do. I'm going to go ahead and just like, we're going to start with a safe calculation, run some tests. We're going to enter in the BIOS and see what we get. I already ran a base test, and from that point in time, we'll see, well, does it come to some benefits? Yes, no, maybe so. Let's find out. Now, one thing that I did want to mention that's way cooler than trying to take pictures with your darn phone, use technology in this. If you have a Google Drive, take a screenshot of this, upload it to your Google Drive, and then when you're in your BIOS, pull up that document. That's basically what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take this little small JPEG, throw it to my Google Drive, and then just be able to view it as I'm kind of entering everything into the BIOS as we go step by step. Because, I mean, you can take a picture and it kind of looks really weird, but this is the cleanest format, and you have it documented later on between a fast and a slow, and you can switch those and start saving those profiles, which will make it super simple. One thing I just noticed, and I don't know if they added it into this one because it's been a second since I've tuned with this, it literally has a screenshot button, like literally down below where you can save stuff and you can go from advanced. I would say take screenshots of everything and go with it. Other neat functionality that you can take a picture of that I think that's really cool is it shows you the best calibration for what your stability lines are for your CPU, for the sockets. It literally breaks it down everything step by step. Now again, the main is what you're going to be mainly focused on as we enter into the BIOS, but I'm just going down the kind of the functions because I noticed that some people don't really go over it too much, but I figured this might be a fun factor for most people that have never overclocked and they don't know what their CPU is going on. This calculator is literally meant to try to figure out your device and try to enter it in the best. And again, make a backup of your profile, and I'll show you exactly kind of like briefly how to do that when we go into the BIOS setting so you don't forget stuff. You can reset it and just go again. There's no real penalty to doing this as long as you don't overvolt something and smoke comes out of it, and that won't happen because you won't overvolt things really crazily. Let's be real here. As long as you're not going over like 1.5 or 1.6, you're really good. You're really chill. Unless you have like a 3800 set, and that's a whole other story. One last thing before I jump into the BIOS, I thought this was kind of neat. You can run a benchmark, you can kind of see what the latency is, and it'll tell you your efficiency and best times in between this, so I thought that was pretty neat. Cool. So you normally will enter your BIOS with F1 or delete. It'll pop up really fast, but you can kind of hit one of those two keys repetitively until it actually happens, or just watch it, just have to reset a few times. But you can kind of see where I'm at. I got all these like G-Skill, they're kind of alike, but they're pretty much timed exactly the same. They're exact same die, everything, so it should work perfectly in that situation for as far as what's going down. You can kind of see what's up for as far as the portion of what I'm going to try to tune. I'm trying to tune every single piece of RAM here. I want this system running and purring down like the street for as far as like gigabytes of data. So let's go ahead and jump into it, and I'm going to show you exactly what we need to do. Now with mine, I mean, you're going to hit like F7, and that should bring you into like your menu like this. Sometimes most people don't mention that. That's actually a way to get out of it because it's really confusing. And then you're going to go, for most motherboards, you can kind of go over and you can kind of see what's going down for as far as your settings. So you can kind of see right here where mine's already tuned off. Well, I'm going back to the F7. You can go over here, and like personally, this is what I would say. Go ahead and say, let's go ahead and disable this. That what I would say, that save this, and at that point in time, so we're going to make a safe profile, and that's what I would say. Let's go ahead and take a look at the profiles. Typically inside of your tools, you'll see this. For mine, I'm going to go ahead and open up, and you see nothing's really assigned right now. We're going to make two like formats, this normal one right now. So you can take it, I took the time to basically put OC 14 standard latency, so I know that that's just basically my computer saying yes. Hover over it, hit yes, it's going to say I'm going to go ahead and save to that profile, and bam, look at that, it appeared right now. So now we have a safe boot back. No matter what, we can go back to this. If everything gets trashed, you can literally like just reopen this if you put a lot of time into your BIOS, if you've never done that before. But if you've never done anything, it's fine. Default's fine. It'll make your system run. This is for the OCers that are like, you ruined my settings. Don't ruin your settings. You should know this by now. But just putting that out there. So let's go ahead and start making certain profiles. So we're going to have our standard, we're going to have our safe, and then we'll have our fast ones. So that way we can just shift gears if I need to later on down the road. If I need to run a memory test, if something fails after some gaming. Most people say run it. I'd say go have fun, game some. If you start seeing some stuff, there are a program that I'll list in the description that you can run, but I'm not really going to make this part of the tutorial to save time. Since we made a stable profile, let's go ahead and just save that and reboot it so that way it knows what's going down, and then we'll boot off our XMP or dock, whatever they call it, and then we'll start creating after another safe boot after that. Notice how it quickly says, hey, OC versus this standard, da 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 da. You know what's up. Now you can see some standard progress. The reason why I say cycle this, and in order to like reset it and go to this, is make sure you save this profile so everything when you boot back in is saved and runs from that, so there's no hidden things that it left over from your freaking like dock or XMP settings, everything is pretty much going to be dialed in from your settings. So, you know, it is something that you did wrong with the input just in case. So 100%, that's what you need. That's what this is doing at this point in time. So that way we can recreate the other profile with a clean carbon, yes, we did it right type situation. So let's go ahead and reset this. This is a good situation of saying, hey, I'm going to go ahead and recycle. Cool. Now I know for sure everything has pretty much been back to normal. My overclock is still there. Most people say don't do it with an overclock, but personally myself, I've dialed in my overclock and it's pretty good. And again, they give you the other reference charts that you can go to, which speaking of, let's bring up that reference chart. So now that I cleanly have this pulled up, and it's just something very nicely documented now on my Google Drive that I can pull up and download anywhere, you can see what we're aiming at in order to input this stuff. So let's go ahead and start off. Now let's go ahead and remember when I mentioned F7, we're going to want to get to a certain tab, and I'm going to show you what's up. Now when you're inputting the timings, one of the things you're going to look at is you'll see TCL, and you'll be like, that's the TV, but where's the timing? Is one of the things it's probably going to reference to, and all the T is referencing is just timing. Like, it's a factor point, kind of like the X factor in math. Looking at that portion, you'll see C, cache latency. So TCL, those abbreviations fit, and it's going to be the very beginning. So we're going to want to go down to that chart, and almost 100% of the time, if not 99.9% of the time, you're just going to follow the chart until you find something that isn't the same factor, and then at that point in time, just kind of study it a little bit, and you'll figure it out. It's going to be great. There's going to be some boot ins and boots out. It's just part of learning, but you got this. I believe in you. Cool. Success. So it took me 6 seconds in order to actually digest what was on that chart to what was on that chart. And again, just look at what the abbreviations are in the very beginning versus what's referenceable. Sometimes they may not be in order, but almost a lot of times they are. I booted back up and it's completely taking this. So let's go ahead and see what some benchmarks are looking at. So everything booted in pretty spiffy, pretty fast. I like it already. You can kind of see what's going down right there. The CPU now is already tuned at what I normally have it at this certain time, and I took a little bit of what their chart said too, perfected what I already had overclocked. There was one or two things that I thought were supposed to be off, depending on like a certain source that I found, which actually was wrong. So I'm really excited to see what this puppy can do, because I already had it extremely stable as is. So let's go ahead and run some benchmarks. Now this is a pretty sexy score for just inputting some stuff into a BIOS and spending maybe about 30 minutes. I mean, and a lot of this for me was setting up this video for everyone else. So you can understand about this is probably maybe 15 to 20 minutes. If you're new to it, you're probably gonna want to spend about like an hour, and you might hit some bumps and bruises along the way, but you're learning. Just understand that you are learning technology. That is something you don't have to pay someone for, that you're learning here, that I'm gifting to you because I've done it time and time again. It is super cool, super awesome, and look at that. Now the physics score is where you see a huge jump. The graphics score, you can kind of see tails a little bit underneath here. You're like, wait, what? But I was having another program open during the under situation of that, so it probably would have been up like that. That actually was a VPN program when the very first time I forgot that I had it off, and that does affect it. It does affect it when it comes down to the graphical point, so we probably would have seen even a higher score on top of that. So complete success. Now I'm going to see an attempt if I can make the fast setting work, but it might fail, but I'll be back. I suppose it's a fair thing to say, does it Cinebench before I start the fast situation. So far so good. ET dubs, R20 is so much harder than R15 on your damn processor. That stuff's like light raising crap like that. So 7,846 is where we're at before. We slaughtered it already with almost 100 over. Almost. It's a little under, but it's still pretty freaking good. Ooh, epic fail. Fast booted, but damn, it booted just as fast down. I gotta go all the way up to like the load in where I went to go log, and then it hit the Windows blue screen. So it's always safe to go with safe, and you can always play around with getting fast stuff later on. But everyone, this is me saying goodbye. Hopefully this helped you understand what's going down with the overclocking your RAM, as well as a nice little overclocking guide for just a glimpse on top of your actual processor. If you want me to see you doing a processor one too, let me know. I can always break that down and try to give you my knowledge of what I had, because I learned something in just doing this for everyone else. So cheers everyone. My computer is running more optimal than it was before. 400 points on a Cinebench, and darn does it end up even, well, 400 points on the 3D Mark, about 100 points on Cinebench. Sorry, 400 points would be freaking amazing. But like, share, and subscribe. If you're new to the network, you can always join. It's absolutely free, helps me as a creator. And if you do today, who knows, maybe, just maybe, my processor will actually get that fast RAM setting. You'll just have to find sign to find out in that situation, as the situations would go. Before I get too tongue-tied, I'm going to say, everyone, have a very nice day, and I'll see you guys and gals in the near future.